Sweet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I spent my 40th birthday, and we have snook off the Texas coast. So they just don't get big like you guys have them in that
Yeah.
area. So we went
Yeah.
to we went to Florida, and we caught. I mean, probably caught like 5 over 40 inches. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I
They're
didn't
huge here.
realize snook didn't have teeth. Like you can lift them like a bass.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
They get huge here, and they're not like my target species because they're highly regulated, and you cannot touch them with a spear.
really?
So yeah, so that's like totally out of the. I mean, I swim with them. I like swim in clouds of them, like the
Yeah.
big ones, but you're not allowed to touch them with the spear or anything. It's all hook and line. So
Mike said they're delicious. We didn't keep them, but he said they're really good eating.
they are phenomenal, like some of the best eating in the
Really?
ocean. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so good.
That's cool.
So, but yeah,
Um,
which is a real shame. I can't spear them. Like I'll sit there and just they'll be like staring at me, and I can't touch. I can't do anything but just
See,
sightsee.
but that's lame to me because I'm a conservationist. But if you can get one with a rod and reel, why can't you get one with a spear?
So because I think because it's a slot and it's like a 4 inch slot, so it's really
Okay,
hard to gauge it with the spear gun. There's some
got it.
things that
Yeah.
are slot, but you're usually allowed like one over slot,
Mhm.
and you can get those with spears. So it's kind of, I mean, I get it, but
Yeah.
there's so many of them.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. So tell me what you actually do for a living. I mean, if anyone checks out your social media stuff, it looks like you just travel around and make cool spearfishing videos.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
have do you have a real job?
that would be the ideal job, but
Uh-huh.
no, my real job is a, PE teacher.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah,
Right on.
so I have like all the time off, like summers and weekends and holidays, and anytime I'm off, I'm on the water playing in like some kind of crazy diving, like multi-day remote mission and stuff, and I just try to do
Uh-huh.
stuff like that.
So when did you get into spearfishing?
I've been so I'm a Florida native, and
Yeah.
I grew up in Miami till I was like 8, and my dad got me into spearing down in Miami, and I was always using like the Hawaiian sling, and I didn't even use a spear gun until like probably like 8 years ago, and so I was all like primitive pole spear Hawaiian sling all the way until like recently. But but so what got me into it was just my dad. My dad, I've been doing it since I was like probably 11 years old,
Wow.
and I've been doing it ever since. And just slowly, but it got super serious probably within the last 10, 15 years.
Okay. And how
Yeah,
long have you been making the videos?
probably about like seriously, like super serious, probably like 3 years, the last 3 years. And
Mhm.
then, but I always kind of tinkered around since like 2015. I would kind of like just upload, and I had like one video of just like compilation stuff went like pretty viral. I got like 1 million views on YouTube. And then I was like, oh, some people are like doing this and kind of making a living. And a lot of like students of mine and other friends told me that I should vlog my dives.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, you should vlog your dives. And I posted like one, I didn't know how YouTube worked, but I posted like one, and um and then like 2 months later I posted another one. So obviously it's not like consistent, but it got a little bit of traction, and I thought they were really cool. But I didn't really know how YouTube worked. But now I'm posting about one YouTube video a week, and um it's getting pretty consistent views, and I'm getting a nice community of people that are kind of
Uh-huh.
tuning in weekly, which is great. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
was it's been a lot of disappointment. But like, I mean, to the point where like I was like ready to give up so many times. And I had a couple people like, and a couple people commenting, and it's like there would be time where I only have like 2 or 3 people commenting on a video,
Uh-huh.
and they would be consistent, but they would say nice things. And I'm like, I feel bad letting them down, like stop posting. But like I'm losing money on everything I do.
Yeah.
Um, and now it's kind of to the point where I'm like almost cutting even on like my trips.
Okay. And so how
But
many subscribers do you have?
I just hit like 35,000.
Okay. And so you can make enough money to pay for your trips with 35,000 subs.
Almost. It's up to the views. Like there's some
Yeah.
people that have like the YouTube shorts and stuff, and they have like 500,000 subscribers, but they're posting a couple shorts, and those shorts don't make a lot of money, and they're probably making way less than I am.
Yeah.
But it's all on the views in the community, and I feel like I'm starting to finally build a community.
Yeah. My YouTube sucks. I think I have like 1,300
You there?
followers. Yeah. You froze for a second, but I see you now.
That's not
Can
bad.
you? Yeah. I've never gotten a check though. But I mean, but I get like, you know, 30 views, and for a long time I was labeling my stuff as you can't hear me.
Dang it. It's starting to do that laggy thing again.
Yeah, crap. Mm,
It's starting to,
yeah. You're not lagging. I'm lagging for you, but you're not.
gosh,
Well,
dang
now
it. It's
you're.
starting to lag again.
Yeah, you're glitching now. I don't know why it's doing that. Are you
Can
there?
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know why either. It's like it just periodically lags.
Yeah,
All right, can you hear me better? Can you hear me now? I'm like going closer to the modem.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see. Okay, we'll see if it works here. You're kind of pixelated.
I know.
Am I pixelated?
No, no, you're good.
Okay.
Let me see. Dang it. Hold on. I'm trying to get you in a right area where it might make a difference. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that
it's still doing it too.
a little bit. I mean, I hear you now.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, you're back to normal. We're just gonna
Oh.
like flip my room.
Okay. Well, let's see what we're. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying like I've always put the like no, it's not made for kids because it's sometimes there's guns or it's hunting content, and I didn't realize that meant nobody could comment. And so like for the last year, I haven't I
Yeah,
haven't had anybody commenting, and I'm like, why do I even bother? Because I mean, I'll put this video up there, and like 30 people will see it, and
yeah,
nobody would comment. But like comments is what gets more people to see it. So it's like
yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
kind of
I did that once. I did that once saying no, it's not for kids. And then a friend of mine's like, hey, take that off because you can't comment. It's like super child friendly. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I've never done it since. So when they
yeah.
say
Well,
that's kind of just BS.
yeah. Well, it's not. I had to go and manually turn the comments on like my recent videos. I don't know.
Hmm,
I don't know.
that's weird.
Yeah. Um. So, are you as far as spearfishing goes? It's always been free diving.
Yeah, I started tank diving because the area I'm at is really deep.
Uh huh.
And I the fact that I used to only free shaft and not use a spear gun, you're like you shoot your shaft and then you have to go retrieve it. And when we're, off the coast of Palm Beach where it's like you go out a couple miles and you're in like 80, 90 feet of water, you're not shooting and retrieving.
Yeah.
So, and when I grew up in Miami, it was shallow, it was like 20 feet. So I learned to tank dive and didn't know anything about deep free diving. And then, like I said, in the past like 10 years, I really got into diving deep to where, I mean, I'll go to the Bahamas and free shaft in like 70, 80 feet.
Uh
And
huh.
but it's just because I've just gotten better at free diving and knowing that like it's possible to spear pelagics and make deep drops and get giant fish in like super deep water just holding your breath.
Yeah. So that's the amazing thing to me. How long can you hold your breath?
Probably like, I mean, if I'm just sitting here doing nothing, probably over 4 minutes.
Uh huh.
Um, but then if I'm diving underwater, like if I'm doing a deep dive, the deepest I've ever the longest I've ever held my breath while diving was I did like a dive to 60 feet and I held it for like 2 minutes and 52 seconds. That was like the longest
Uh-huh.
breath while diving. And that's a
Okay.
long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a level of training associated with that. Not everyone can just say, I'm going to hold my breath for 3 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's honestly, it's just from doing it. So there's a lot of things people could do. You could take a course, which is always what I recommend to people because it goes over safety about it because it is very dangerous.
Mhm.
Um, but I've never taken a course. I've never taken a course. I just did it from doing and diving with other people who have taken courses. And I just, like I said, I grew up doing it. So before they've even made courses for it, I was already doing like what the
Yeah.
courses like talk about. It just doesn't, the only thing that's different is the safety aspect of it. I just didn't go over that, but I learned over time through social media, through just friends, seminars, stuff like that.
So, yeah. So, what is the most dangerous component of free diving?
Blacking out. Blacking out is the most dangerous part because, and I've seen it happen firsthand. So, um, it's basically where you have just a loss of your lack of oxygen, which it sneaks up on you because you don't know when it happens, and it
Mhm.
makes you pass out for 15 seconds. And in that 15 seconds, you go underwater, and then you take a breath and you drown.
Right. Right.
So it usually happens at the surface. So somebody will do like a really long dive and then come up to the surface, take one breath, and then pass out, and then sink back down, and then they come to, and uh, in like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and they're 30 feet down, and they just take a big inhale of water and drown. So
So,
that's
when you saw it happen, what was that situation?
it was wild. It was off of here. I'm not going to say any diver's name because
Right.
obviously people don't like, saying, but it was basically me and two other guys. Um, and we it was early morning and we were diving out of Palm Beach in like 90 feet of water.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we shot like a couple of big amberjacks. It was a good night. Are you there? The thing clicked.
I'm
Was it
here.
oh, okay. Um,
Yeah.
we my buddy shot a big black grouper and it went under a rock in 90 feet and the current was moving um and it was basically lodged under this cave. So I made a dive down and got a hold of the gripper. I was like stabbing it in the head to try to kill it so we could pull it out because it was like going in one way and kind of trying to come out the other way and it had it lined all intertwined. And I ended up like trying to just stab it a bunch of times in the head and I ended up stabbing my hand, like
Oh,
just
yeah.
punctured my finger. And I went up to the surface, hopped in the boat, told them, the two guys, to like kind of just hang out. And good divers, really good divers, my buddies for the longest time. We still dive together.
Yeah.
But I hopped in the water after kind of like gathering myself. I was exhausted. I knew how deep it was, and I knew it was either me and like maybe one other guy there could do it. So the other guy who could do it went down and was down there for a while, unwrapped the situation, started heading up, and was like almost to the surface, and ended up running out of breath, or like running out of breath, and threw the grouper. And the other diver kind of went to go after the grouper, but I knew something was off. So I was like watching the other diver, and he broke the surface and just like hit the surface and just like fell over sideways and just started sinking back down. And
Oh.
I was right on him. And so I went and grabbed him and I lifted him up and I like ripped his mask off and I was like, he was like convulsing, just like, like, just like kind
Yeah.
of, it was like he was trying to breathe but couldn't. And I was just holding him, and then he finally like kind of went to sleep. And I started like smacking his face, calling his name, and then he woke up. And if I wasn't there, he probably would have died.
Oh, I don't think there's any other outcome there if someone wasn't
Yeah,
there to grab him.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then my other buddy who like went after the grouper like came up. He's like, dude, he's like the groupers like went off the spear and and went back down to the bottom. And I'm like, hey, he just blacked out. And he's like, what? And so like it was like crazy. Like I have it all on GoPro too, by the way.
Oh
It's
my
on my
God.
YouTube. Yeah, I have the entire thing on my like from when he starts coming up, because he started coming up, and that's when I hit my GoPro, because I was like, oh sweet, he has the fish, and I hit the GoPro, and it turned on, and he was coming up, and the GoPro has him like letting the fish go, and then hitting the surface, and me like you see him hit the surface and like fall over, and you're like, oh my god, and so I just hauled butt over to him, and you see me like grab him, and I mean the GoPro doesn't get like on his face, but you can see and
Yeah.
hear everything that's being said. And yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's like real
Jeez.
stuff.
Yeah.
I've had multiple people ask me for that footage because it is a real life depiction of what happens during a blackout.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
And
people
this
use it for
guy,
like training.
he still dives?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was his second time blacking out.
That was his second time?
Yeah, he had to go to the hospital the first time because he was his heart stopped.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're going to
But
be dumb, you better be tough, right?
yeah, yeah. No, he's tough. He's tough, and he still dives crazy. But you better believe I'm watching his back whenever he's in the water.
So did the
But
grouper, I guess at that point, the grouper just floated off?
yeah, no, he just kind of slowly coasted and swam back down to the bottom. Probably went into a hole, but the current was just pushing us, and we couldn't like stay on the spot.
Uh-huh.
And we obviously we were preoccupied. But yeah, no, that is a serious danger. People die all the time. Even one of my good friends just passed away about 2 months ago. A guy who's been on a couple trips, and he was actually a dive instructor, and he was diving with some friends, and I guess just it's just a freak accident. Maybe he didn't warm up right, and it was like the first dive of the day, and he made a drop, and it was bad visibility, and he was never to be seen again. They still haven't found him.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So that's the most dangerous thing, really. Like sharks and stuff like that are not, they're an afterthought.
Yeah, it's like part of the territory. Like they're there. If you spear a fish, if they're around, you're gonna have to like fight them for it. Like, like I
Fight
mean,
them
I
for
don't
it.
know. Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna fight them from the rod and reel, right? And
yeah.
I mean, because recreational anglers it's a gripe in Texas, it's a gripe in Florida, it's a gripe really on every coastline in the United States right now because we don't kill as many sharks as we used to. And
Mhm.
I was telling you off there, I had Tom Roland on, and the gist of that conversation was make shark fin soup great again because we have too many damn sharks, and we used to kill more sharks, and now like
Yeah.
Disney Channel's glorified it. Shark Week, okay, that's great. They're making money. Sharks are cool. Nobody wants
Mhm.
sharks like extirpated, much like wolves. Like, okay, wolves are around, that's fine, but they need to be
Yeah.
like managed. Wolves do. The ocean's
Yeah.
so
I wonder.
vast, so I don't know how the shark might be a tougher nut to crack as far as.
Yeah. I honestly, I mean, they don't really bug me too much. Usually, if a fish gets sharked, like 90% of the time, it's probably human error. Like,
Okay.
the person didn't get a backup shot, or they let the fish sit there and dangle. There's times when I've had it where there was nothing I could do. Like
Mhm.
it's where there was like the shark I shot a fish, and I was pulling in as fast as I possibly could, and there was nothing I could do. The shark just was on a mission and beat me to the fish, and there was nothing I could do. But
Which
that
sharks
usually
are the
happens.
worst?
Um, the the most dangerous I've heard are like bull sharks,
Right.
but the
Which
ones
ones rob you guys the most?
bull sharks get them pretty good. But honestly, I think it's reef sharks, like
Yeah.
those little small darty ones. Those ones are the ones you got to worry about because they're stupid. They're like dumb kids that are will come too close for comfort, and those are the ones that like whenever you have like a spearfishing shark bite or something. Usually it's not like a big tiger or something crazy. It's usually just like one of those little reefies that comes in because they're wiry and hungry, and they go to bite the fish, and then you flash your arm in front of them, and they bite that instead. So
Yeah.
that usually is, yeah, that's usually what kind of gets me the most are the smaller sharks. The big ones are kind of docile,
Well, so
but
that brings up the question, like, because we are seeing a lot of shark attacks on the coast,
Yeah.
you know, in the summertime. Makes sense. More sharks, more attacks, more people, more attacks, right? It's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
Um, but it seems like if you're going to get attacked by a big, you know, bull shark or a tiger shark or something, or a great white,
Mhm.
maybe it's more dangerous to be on the surface where they're coming up towards you. If you're down there swimming with them,
Yeah.
I don't know because I haven't done it. Well, not that I know
Yeah.
of.
I feel more safe at the surface because, like,
You
if
would
I'm
feel
down there,
okay.
if I'm down there with so like the bull sharks,
Uh-huh.
if you're down there with the fish, they are like they're in their comfort zone.
Uh-huh.
You know, when they're trying to eat that fish and you're trying to fend them off, if you're down there with them trying to like push them away from the fish, they come in super close. Once you get that fish towards the surface and like the sharks kind of veer down, they go back, they go away. And same thing with reef sharks. Like once you get it past a certain level to this towards the surface, the sharks usually venture back down towards the bottom because they just
Uh-huh.
want to kind of hover the reef and everything like that. And you'll see it in my videos. I mean, a lot of the shark behavior. I mean, there's some intense ones where I have to like kick the shark in the face, and once I kind of do that, you see like the sharks, they are like kind of patrolling and get crazy
Uh-huh.
below where I'm pulling the fish up, and then they realize the fish is above them, and then they shoot up to the surface to get the fish. And once I get the fish like to myself and like grab the fish or get it, you know, away from the sharks immediately turn down and then just go to the bottom and chill out. It's really weird. It's like
Huh.
I mean they have a system that they
But they're
do
not
that.
looking at you as a food source.
No. I mean the only thing I think would look at us as a food source would be like giant tiger sharks thinking we're like turtles floating at the surface
Yeah.
or great whites thinking we're seals.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean
Yeah,
even
I
there's
saw
great
this
whites out here.
video of a dude swimming in I think it was the Dead Sea. No, Red Sea. I don't know, it was in Europe.
Oh yeah, the tiger shark where it just ate him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that was
mean, he's like sitting there
insane.
screaming and the dude is just he gets eaten alive. People are filming like help him like but nobody can help him. He's getting eaten. He's like 30, 40 yards off the bank or whatever. That
Yeah,
was
that was so weird. That was crazy because that was kind of unlike shark behavior that I'm used to. Like you never really see that. I'm guessing it was just the thing was thought it was a or I heard that the Dead Sea or whatever is so like there's not a lot of food source there, so
yeah,
that's why the shark ate the
ate him.
guy.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing I heard. I remember that, and I'm
That's
like, oh, I
gnarly.
guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
Um, but that's pretty wild. That would suck. The way to go is get eaten fully by a freaking tiger shark. That'd be
I can't eat, yeah. Oof.
yeah. I
Terrible.
saw the video.
Don't watch the video, people. It's not
It was pretty bad.
yeah. Yeah.
All you see
So
is just a guy flailing and a lot of like blood in the water.
yeah.
That's pretty much the whole video. Is pretty gnarly.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah,
So
man.
your camera is mounted on your head.
Yes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
On my mask.
hmm what is the most amazing place that you have gone spearfishing, or where your passion has taken you on your adventures? I mean, that's the cool thing. I'm looking at like one of these videos on YouTube is you're going after grouper in some remote caves somewhere, or like you
Yeah,
said, you're going to the Bahamas, or you're planning the next like off the grid deal, or I'm on a sailboat with my buddies and on some remote island. You know, cool stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what we do. So I mean, we as in just I and my the whole like production is it's just me. So it's like the GoPro on my head. If I get a chance to do other footage, like other angles, that's usually me. Or maybe I'll give a buddy a GoPro and they can film. Um, and then the drone footage, like all like everything is like me videoing and me editing. So
Uh-huh.
which is nice because it's everything everybody sees is like all like my creation. It's not like
Yeah.
just outsourced. Uh, but the best place I've ever been is it's the Bahamas. I mean, and there's so many different islands in the Bahamas in different areas, and they're all different. They have pretty much all like the same kind of fish species in the Atlantic that I like target. So I know what fish are what, but there's some areas where I don't see a single black grouper. And then there's some areas where I don't see a single um like mutton snapper. And then
Hmm.
there's other areas where I see a ton of those. And so like there's in different areas and different islands throughout the Caribbean. I mean, a lot of it's the Caribbean that I go to. Um, it's just so different. And there's areas that are heavily populated, which are, nice to kind of resort around and, kind of have amenities and stuff.
Hmm.
But then there's some places where you go and it's just remote, and you see giant fish and this crazy structure, which like are where I come into those caves and stuff, where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this even exists.
Yeah.
So, and the way the reef forms on some of those islands, and the way it's mind blowing. I mean, there was one. I think it was a recent video. I went to a super far south, remote island, and I went on a trip through a YouTube connection. So that's another positive about creating content.
Yeah.
But I went on this trip, and I went 60 feet down into this little crack, and thank God I had my light. And I went a little farther back, and I just looked over this edge, and it just went down into like an abyss, like that went down like 100 plus feet, like into a
Oh man.
dark cave. And I'm like, and it was like a giant mound of a reef that the structure was insane. And it looked like it used to be an underwater freshwater spring coming into salt water. I don't know. It was bizarre.
Huh. Well,
So
so if you can get down 60 feet, how much of your 2.5 minutes or whatever it is of your air reserve is used in the dive versus how much of the time are you actually hunting?
hunting,
Like how quick can you get
probably
down there?
usually probably if I go down like 60, it's usually if I go slow, it's probably like 20 seconds,
Okay.
and then usually like 20 seconds to get up. So usually like over a minute of
Mm,
bottom hunting time.
okay.
And that's plenty. I mean, that's plenty of what you would need. And if I push myself, or sometimes, if I shoot something, I could haul butt up to the surface and get up there quick. But it's funny in free diving, the more you do, the less time you have down there. So like when I'm going to kick, like to descend, it might take me longer to go down like deeper, but I'll only kick like 4 or 5 times before I become negative buoyant and I just start coasting down. And I could kick to make myself get down there faster, but with every kick, I'm losing seconds of
Yeah.
breath because I'm burning oxygen to do that. So it's like you have to have like a balance. And I always catch myself doing too much. And so it's almost like it's really like meditation and yoga and like breath work and everything when you're free diving, along with like extreme sport, killing, hunting fish. So,
Right.
I mean, you hunt,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh
And
yeah.
I hunt too. Like I'm a big bow hunter. I hunt a lot of public land, and and dude, you know the adrenaline feeling. It's like
Hmm.
that, but you're holding your breath, and you're like beats and beats from getting another breath. So when you like go down and you see like the fish, like your heart starts pumping, you have to like just calm yourself. So it's really good for hunting as well. So like I know it's made me a little bit of a better hunter on land because yeah, I see that, 6 point, 8 point, whatever it is sitting out there. Like obviously I start shaking, but like my breath like stays calm, and I try
Uh-huh.
to like, I mean, I think that
You're
diving
able to
aspect.
harness that adrenaline dump.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. It helps a little bit. I mean, still not foolproof. I have
Yeah.
my fair share of mess ups.
You guys have really tiny whitetail in Florida.
Dude, yes, but
But
they're
here's the thing, like
giants compared to for
yeah, but
us.
a trophy's in the eye of the beholder, and a trophy really
Correct.
is it's totally different based on where you live, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
an 8 point buck in Florida might be what 110 inches.
Yeah, yeah, probably. There,
Oh,
there,
and
there,
that
and there's some that are like little basket rack, like tiny basket racks, and
mhm.
it's an 8 point.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, for me, and it's the same thing in diving. Like the biggest thing is like the feet of like what led you to that animal. So I mean, like if you go like if I spent a whole like weekend trying to hunt this deer and have him like like sitting and just all this build up and then finally got him on the last day, and it's like say a 6 point.
Hmm.
And another time I went out first morning, first 10 minutes, got super lucky, buck walked right under me and it was a nice 8. Like the whole process behind getting that smaller 6 point like will stick with me
Hmm.
longer and is more of like a feat, internal feat, like than, just getting that, just having dumb luck and literally just
Yeah.
walking upon.
I
I mean,
shot this
obviously it's
one.
great.
I shot this buck. Let's see. I
Like
shot
that's
this
not
one
bad.
at a buddy's place on the first afternoon,
Oh, okay.
and people
Pretty
come
nice though.
in the studio and they're like, "Wow, that's an awesome deer." I'm not going to turn the camera all the way around, but on the other side of the studio, and there's deer heads all in here. There's
Yeah.
this little 3x3 mule deer that I shot at 11,000 feet, public land, pack in hunt in New Mexico with a muzzleloader. I'm like, that's the story I want to tell you about. Who cares about this thing, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that was easy. It came to the feeder, I shot it. There's nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't
Yeah.
even take as much pleasure in shooting that one as if it was my own lease where I've invested my own blood, sweat, tears, money, hours, blisters, sunburn, ticks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, that that makes it, and I have a relationship with some of those deer where I'm like been watching them for a year or two. This one I just showed up and shot it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Like the 6 point is the one that's like that was it's the experience, right? That's the thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
And same thing with the diving. It's the same deal. Like you can have a dumb fish swim right up to you and it be an absolute stud, but then you have a dive where you go to 110 feet and you're sitting there, not a single fish around, and then there was it was a slow day, and then this one mutton snapper who was like a little over legal, you're kind of going in and you do a freaking like 2 minute, 30-second dive to 110 feet and shoot this fish. That's the kind of crap you remember forever, not like
Mm-hmm.
the every normal mutton that, is just chum drunk, eating the chum and just, I think a lot of it's the journey to get to and I think it's
Uh-huh.
very similar to hunting.
Yeah. So you guys
So
chum before you dive.
sometimes we'll have like flashers setups. So like if there's like wahoo or pelagic fish, kingfish coming through, they'll like kind of get attracted to it. And then if we see it coming in, we make a quick dive and we try to dive bomb them. But also we'll have chum on occasion. And it just depends on what we're targeting, our depth. If we're on like reef, sometimes we won't even bring the flashers and we'll just take turns just making drops to the reef and just, kind of hunting fish on the reef. Um, or we'll be in areas where we can't even get close to the bottom and we're just getting the pelagics up from like a 200-foot wreck.
Uh-huh.
So, like I said, the videos are fun because I do everything. Like I'll do, like there was a dive recently I did we were on like a 200-foot wreck and my buddy shot a fish and it got wrapped up on the wreck, on the mast of the
Uh-huh.
wreck. And I dove down to try to like untangle the situation,
How
and
deep was that?
I was 115.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, just free diving, and I went down, and I'm like, I saw the fish was like another like 30 feet deeper, and there was like sharks patrolling all around me and the fish, and I just like pulled my knife out. I'm like, sorry, bud, and I just had to cut the line, and I was like, I'm not going another 30 feet
Yeah.
to try to spear this fish and cut the line and then pull the fish up. I was like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that kind of that part sucks, and that's kind of taking a loss there. But there's like not really any option. The only thing we could have done was pulled it up, and it was like an 80-pound amberjack that we were trying to fight from the surface that my friend
Uh-huh.
shot.
Wow.
So
Oh.
but yeah, no, I mean there's crap like that, and we can dive the reef and like hit like 30, 40-foot stuff and then go out and do like some crazy stuff like that all in the same day. And it just depends on how we feel, who we're with, and we're like, all right, nothing
Uh,
here, let's go try this. And so there's like a bunch of different things. That's, I mean, that's why it's always like nonstop, like action. Like
Uh-huh.
if even if you're not getting anything, you're still seeing, bait, you're seeing, sea life. I mean, just diving's super, super action packed.
So what's the biggest fish that you've shot?
Uh, Probably amberjacks, like uh, like 80-pound amberjacks, giants.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy just shot a 100-plus pounder last summer, and
Oh.
it was huge. It was
So what is that? How does that play out? You shoot the fish. I'm assuming with the smaller fish, a lot of the times watching some of the videos, it looks like the fish is dying pretty quickly.
yeah, yeah,
With
yeah.
these bigger fish, it's not killing them. I mean, I'm sure sometimes if you make a perfect shot, it does, right? But
Yeah, you want to make a perfect shot, but if you don't, and you just stick the fish with the spear, usually the spear, it's hard to get the spear to come out because you have a barb and all that stuff, and you have line attached to the spear, and you have like it's almost like a fishing reel,
yeah,
but it's like 1,000, it's like I think it's probably like 500-pound, basically a paracord Dyneema that,
yeah.
and you have like 300 feet of that on your little reel that's attached to your gun, so once you shoot something and it takes off with your spear, it's just starts to untwine this, line, and you kind of put the brakes on them enough to where, it doesn't rip the spear out of the fish, and you just basically fight the fish and just, you're like hand lining, fighting the fish and slowing them down and get them close enough to where your other buddy diver can go down and put another kill shot shaft in them. And then once you have two shafts in them, then you can both hoist the fish up and get it to the
But so what if
surface.
you have to? What if you have to go take a breath? You've shot the fish now, and you're like,
That's what you let line out on your reel.
uh-huh. Okay.
So like, so you shoot a fish, you want to like kind of put the brakes on them, and then but if you start heading to the surface and you're like, all right, the fish is not tired at all, he keeps going. So then you just let your line out, and then you get to the surface, then you put your snorkel in, and then you're sitting there fighting them from the surface.
Okay. Okay. I
So
see how. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta
Um.
watch the videos. We gotta watch the videos. There, I do a lot. I do all voiceovers in them. So
Uh huh.
there's like a lot of people I used to not, and then I got feedback from people talking about, you know, hey, you should voice over and tell people like what you're doing and why you're doing it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. For me, it's like common sense, but I guess for somebody who's new, they wouldn't really know. And then also I end up putting timers so you got like people can hold their breath on the videos with me.
Oh, that's cool.
It's something new I started doing,
Yeah.
and people freaking love it. They like just are chilling in their living room watching YouTube videos, and they just practice their breath holds by holding their breath with me
That's
on these.
genius. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
My
I
buddy's
also
trying to get me to go. Like we don't have the same, reef system that you guys have. Most
Mhm.
of ours is oil rigs, and those are
Yeah,
just vibrant. I mean, I'm
dude,
sure
those
you've
are.
hit those up
I need to.
before,
No, I've
but
never hit them up, but
oh,
I am. I want to
each
get
one's
on a
its
trip
own
out there.
unique, underwater ecosystem.
Oh, they're
And
they're crazy cool.
yeah, so there's a guy that guides trips off the coast of Texas, and my buddy's like, "Come on, dude, we need to use your influence and try to get this guy to take us." I'm like,
You
uh,
totally should.
I know, but I don't know. I've never done it before. I'd have to. How long would I need to be able to hold my breath to go do it?
Um, Honestly, I mean, sometimes cobia come right up to the surface, and you can
Mm,
shoot a cobia.
mm,
But I mean, you don't maybe a minute.
okay, I can hold.
I
I think I
mean,
can definitely hold my
yeah,
breath
I
for
mean,
a minute. Yeah.
there's dives. There's dives. I mean, you'll even if you see some of the videos, like I'll shoot a fish and I'll come up and the the timer is only at like 40 seconds or less
Uh-huh.
sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
then I always show the depth, and sometimes I'll go down and I'll steer a mackerel, and it like the depth is like 9 feet,
Uh.
10
But so yeah,
seconds.
if I get serious and actually I would say, okay, buddy, we're going, then I'll probably explore tons of YouTube videos on it.
Oh
Which
yeah, yeah,
YouTube's great.
yeah.
My wife just repaired the plumber in our camper by YouTubing it,
There you
figuring it
go.
out.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and that's
Yeah.
that's what I kind of started to learn is that people they don't want to just watch me have fun. They kind of want to learn and get
Mhm.
inspired by it, and so that's kind of what my videos have been more geared towards. And I've had a little bit more of a community behind it, and then so they kind of yeah, I think it's good to just kind of show people the cool things you can do with diving and
No,
teach them how to.
is this something where you always have a buddy? You don't ever do this solo?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have done it very rarely solo, but I'm extremely safe if I
Mhm.
ever do it solo. But again, it's like don't even when I go solo, I tell people not to do that. Like
Mhm.
I would say, like I know I'm going solo, but and usually I'm shallow, but that's when people get tricked because they go up and down and up and down, and their oxygen level starts to shrink. So then they go up and down, and they don't when they're at the surface, they don't have time to like build their oxygen and their blood back up. So
Mhm.
that's whenever, them going up and down a bunch of times is like somebody doing a, 100-foot dive and then coming up and blacking out. So
Mhm.
that's how the shallow water black, because it usually doesn't happen in like deep water. It's shallow. People are up and down in like 30 feet of water and just no surface time. And that's the one thing I stress on my channel is like surface intervals. Like if you're down for a minute, you got to be at the surface sitting there breathing for like 2 minutes before you do another dive. So I
Mhm.
usually double my dive time. And that's why I have a dive watch. A lot of people think it's for depth and stuff, but no, I'm timing. Once I hit the surface, it tells me my surface time from my last dive, and it shows me my last dive. So if I was down there for 30 seconds, I'm at least at the surface for a minute. And
Uh-huh.
so I won't dive until that thing hits a minute, and then I know I'm like good. So
Okay. So yeah, that's great that you're providing education as people are obviously coming to your channel to
yeah,
absorb information. Um, how I found you though was, and it just was something that popped up in my feed, and it was a guy, you, speared a fish. It wasn't a huge fish. I don't even know what kind of fish it was. And
oh
you're
yeah,
pulling the fish in, and then like your arm just disappears in this giant Goliath grouper's mouth. And I was like,
yeah,
oh my god! Like, so I want to know what that felt like. And I've done a bit of noodling, and when you
yeah,
get hammered by a 60-pound catfish, it you feel it. Like the first time it
yeah.
did it, I instinctively just let go of the fish. Now he didn't get out of the hole. My buddies like put their feet there, and I came up and I was like, oh my god! And they'd all done it before, and they were just laughing. They were like, you got bit, and I was like, yeah, and that didn't feel that great. But now I know what to
No,
expect, so I'm going back. Uh, I'm assuming that's a 60-pound fish. Who knows how much that grouper weighed? Hundreds of pounds.
it was probably 200 pounds.
Yeah. What did that
I
feel
mean,
like?
dude, it hurt. I have the scars along my hand. I
You
don't know
did.
if you probably can't see them, but it's still scarred up, and I still like when I feel it. There's like bumps from because I mean he shredded the side of my hand, and dude, I didn't see that guy. I didn't even see him before we were diving. Like
Uh-huh.
he came out of nowhere, and I guess he came up under from under. In that video, I didn't even. I thought the fish just got away, but what that grouper did was he opened his mouth, and when he opened his mouth, it created a suction, and it sucked the fish off my spear straight into the back of his throat, along with my hand. I noticed it because I noticed it during slow mo. That was when I realized I was like, "Oh my god, that thing actually ate the fish." Because even in slow mo, you can't see the fish go. It's so fast that
Yeah.
it's there, and then the fish just poop disappears, and it just got sucked into his mouth. The slow
Mm-hmm.
mo couldn't even catch it, and and when I did that, my hand went into his mouth, and then it came back out and grabbed right where it was holding before. It was like it was so fast and
Yeah.
so like it hit me like, and I didn't even like know what happened until after I saw the grouper like swim away. I'm like, what the just bit my what the hell just bit my hand? And
Yeah.
I realized what it was. I because I once I grabbed it, I just kind of like probably looked up like I was about to go look to head to the surface but it was a yellowtail snapper, and those things are so good eating.
Uh-huh.
And it was my buddy and I were off the jet ski diving off the coast here, and slow day. laced perfectly this nice yellowtail. It was gonna make the day. You know, I was gonna do a catch and cook, all that stuff. And freaking Goliath came up and stole it. Like that was
Yeah.
our last dive. I told my buddy, I was like, "Well, I think we're done today."
Yeah.
Like I was like, "It's a slow day," and then that just happened. Of all that's never happened to me before. I've had it where they like. I've had a video where I did tug of war with one because I shot a fish and the fish went in a hole in a wreck and a grouper was in there and it sucked him up immediately. So I grabbed my spear and I was sitting there like fighting with the grouper and I, got my spear back, but he just sucked the fish off of the spear.
Uh-huh.
And, but none have ever grabbed my hand. And I think it grabbed my hand because it came up from under and I don't think it saw what was happening. I think it just saw the fish's tail.
Yeah.
And then once it like came up, it grabbed me because I bet once it hit me and let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he hit me like here and it just like kind of pulled my glove off. My glove probably would have protected it, but it pulled my glove off and just got my bare skin and just kind of scraped up the side of my hand. And that's what kind of shredded the side of my hand a little bit. And
Like, did it send like a shockwave through your certainly your arm and probably a lot of that side of your
yeah,
body?
yeah, well, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. I mean, those things, I mean, if you ever dove with them and the people that have dove with them know, they make a thud, because like if you're near them and they don't like it, they just like make a big thud noise. And dude, it like shakes your insides. They
Yeah.
like make a drumming noise where it's like boom, boom,
Mm.
and it just it will shake your insides.
Yeah.
And
They're
it's
called a
just some
Goliath for a reason. So
dude. I've seen ones that are. I mean, the record is like 900 plus pounds. There's probably some that are over 1,000 pounds. They're
uh-huh.
huge,
What's
and
the biggest one you've seen, you think?
I think probably like 800 pounds.
Goodness gracious.
And they
Yeah.
look like a car down there. They usually sit on the wrecks, and once you go there, you're like, I'm not shooting anything on this wreck, no matter what it is. It's not going to be big enough for that thing to not eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I had a feeling that was how you found me. That was that video. It probably happened a month and a half before I actually posted that video because I was trying to like, I was like, all right, I need to sit down and I need to really make like post this wisely and like put a watermark on it. I need to, and even still with the watermark, people have like been trying to like steal the footage and like cover up the watermark with some text and stuff and like not even like credit. I mean, I don't care if people use the stuff, but I feel like
Yeah.
at least credit it to where
Oh, I use
people
stuff
know
all the
people know
time where I have no idea where it came from. But if I find out, or I might even say, hey, if you know whose this is, let me know. I'm happy to
yeah,
give them credit. But like today,
yeah,
I
yeah.
got someone sent me a video of somebody who was driving like a Toyota hatchback to work,
Uh-huh.
and they hit this coyote, and the
Oh shoot.
coyote's alive stuck in the bumper, just sitting there looking at him. Like I don't know whose video that is, but I posted it because I was like, okay, now we have an ethics conundrum. What do you do with the coyote that's very much alive? His head is sitting there looking at you. His body is stuck in the bumper. Like you need to dispatch it, right? That's what I think. Like we're called to do as sportsmen. You don't want to see an animal suffer.
Yeah,
But if you're
yeah,
in this whoever was driving this little Toyota was in the city, so probably can't shoot a gun. They probably didn't have a gun. So it's like, well, what do you
yeah,
do? Did you get the tire iron out of the back of the car, or maybe they play softball and have a bat back there? I mean, and then if you do that and someone films you, you'll probably lose your job, and the
yeah.
animal rights activists are going to come after you. So I don't know, maybe just call the game warden, or if you did have a gun, or if you probably just drive to the closest back road and just deal with it.
That's
Put the
freaking
thing
crazy. I need
put
to
the
watch
thing out
that
of its
video now.
misery. Yeah,
I need to
but like,
watch
but
that
I don't
video.
have any idea whose video that is.
Yeah,
No.
that's pretty
Um.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no, I wanted to make sure, like I said, that just I wanted to make sure I did it right. So I did, voiceover to explain to people what was happening,
Yeah.
and then also did the uh slowed it down in slow mo. And I'm glad I waited so long because I've showed a couple people the video, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Oh my God, you should slow that down like super slow mo." I was like, "That's a really good idea."
Yeah.
So I did everything. So because I mean, people see it initially and they're like, "Oh my God," and
Yeah.
then immediately I slow it down to slow motion and they're like, holy crap, that just happened. Yeah. Yeah,
So
that was
did your the scrape on your arm, did it like fester?
what do you mean, just like stay there?
Yeah, no, I mean like so when you get bit by a big catfish, if you don't have on some kind of sleeve or glove or something, like
Yeah.
it gives you basically road rash and it
Yeah, that's pretty much what it
festers
was.
and then it
Yeah.
sticks to your sheets at night. It's really an unpleasant thing for a couple weeks until it heals. So
Yeah, that
that
was
the
the same
first
thing here.
time, yeah, first time I went, I did not have like protection on my arms and just got absolutely tore up. So
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was that. I mean, like I said, the scars is still is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, it probably wouldn't have been a scar if it just healed properly, but it just kept getting reopened and just like scabbing up and but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty intense. And
So what
I don't
I was gonna say, so what is your favorite fish to hunt?
um probably Wahoo
Okay.
because they're so tough. Like they're really hard to steer. They taste delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Oh yeah.
and they're just I don't know, they're so beautiful in the water and they're so fast that like when you spear them, you got to make sure you have a decent shot on them.
Mm-hmm.
They they if so like and you get them in open water, like open blue water. So when you're down, if you show them interest, like kind of go towards them or like kind of swing your gun to them, they know like they're looking right at you and they know that you're like a predator, so they veer away from you. So it's
Uh-huh.
like they're really tough to get a shot on, and they only come around ever so often. And I've shot a few of them. But yeah, man, you get so stoked on it when you get them, and even if you somehow finally land a shot, you got to hope your gear doesn't fail because they haul butt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I don't know. Actually, I just hunted tuna for the first time in Costa Rica, and that was a freaking blast.
What kind of tuna species?
Yellowfin,
Okay.
like big yellowfin, and there and it like just the whole process of like you find spinner dolphin, you dive in front of the spinner dolphin, and once you dive, you see like just a whole mass of school of these spinner dolphins swimming under you, and then that's when you're like, okay, my time to dive, and then you dive, and then all the tuna hang out. They're like the cleanup crew of the spinner dolphin, who are the wrecking crew through bait,
Mm-hmm.
and so once you go down, you just sit there and you face the direction the spinner dolphin or you know like it's almost like head on, and then you go down to like 20 30 feet whatever it is and you just wait, and then all of a sudden here come the tuna, and then you're just like you gotta pick one out and you gotta pop them, and man the the fight those things have is insane, and they're negative buoyant, so like you shoot one and it just pulls your float, and then all of a sudden once it like even if it's not fighting, your float is like just upright and just I mean sometimes it sinks it, sometimes they pull the float under, but it'll just be like tombstoning, and you sit there and you can't just, it's not like you just pull it up, you
Yeah.
have to have like you have to pull it up and then you have to like cinch it off with another float because and you have to like gain on them, and then if they decide to take a run, there goes all your line. I mean if you get a good one, expect to fight that one fish for like 20 to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that
Uh-huh.
at the surface. It's wild. So I mean, they're just different types of fight, different types of fish, and
Mm-hmm.
some taste, some are better raw, some are better cooked. I mean,
All right, so
it's
yeah,
such a
let's talk about
variety.
this because a big part of your page is okay, we've speared the fish. Now, what are we doing with it? So,
Oh yeah,
what's the best sashimi, and
oh sashimi.
what is your favorite like preparation of like when you actually cook?
So, I mean, shoot, my favorite way to cook where you can't go wrong is blackening. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I love blackening, and I'll like blacken fish and I'll shred it and I'll put it on top of nachos and make like blackened fish nachos, or I'll do the same thing with like tacos because I get fish like I try to dive like at least once a week, and
Mm-hmm.
usually that fish will last me a while. I try not to freeze fish so I can And if I do freeze fish, usually I give it to family or something like that. But yeah, I think blackening is my favorite way to go. But I like to mix it up because
Uh,
if you just have it one way all the time, it'll get kind of stale. And but sashimi, probably Wahoo sashimi, and you just like throw it in the freezer right before you eat it for like 5 minutes, and then pull it out, and it's like nice and chilled, and it's just so
yeah,
freaking good. And then
yeah.
but yeah, and then I'll do like poke bowls. I'll do seared tuna or seared wahoo. Um, what I'm probably gonna do for the cobia that I'm gonna get soon, I'll probably chunk it and I'll do skewers with pineapple, jalapeno, and
Mm.
wrap them in bacon.
Cobia. So does anyone in Florida call those ling?
That's what they're called. No, nobody calls them link, but I know that's what they call them
Texas,
in
yeah.
Texas. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
why.
a I don't either.
Somebody
I
says
don't
ling, and I'm like, what the
what
hell
is
is a
that?
ling?
Right. So
Like ling cod?
let's wrap this up with something, and I
Yes.
hadn't seen the video, but you were telling me off the air about
Oh yeah.
going diving with these bull sharks and because of their relationship with the cobia.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. They
what is that situation like? I'm purposely going to go swim with bull sharks now.
yeah, like lots of them. Lots of them. If you go to my YouTube channel, look up one of my more popular videos and look for the one where it says using 9mm bullets on fish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the video. It has a lot of views. And so what we do is so these bull sharks, they swim and they kind of are just like picking up scraps. They're eating, they get after and usually they cruise the bottom and they'll kick up like, flounders and crabs and stuff. And the cobia swim with the bull sharks, and when that happens, they just have a feast on like like the crabs and
And the
and
bull
they just
sharks don't
basically
try to eat the cobia.
no, they have like they're just like remoras,
Uh-huh.
their remoras are hanging out with the big bull sharks, and it's just like a relationship they have. But if something's wrong with the cobia, like say the cobia is like deformed or like it's injured, oh yeah, the bull
Mm-hmm.
sharks eat them. We know firsthand. And so we love, obviously we don't eat the bull sharks, but we chum them up, and usually they'll have like schools of cobia. I actually have a tattoo of the bull sharks and cobia. I just got it because
Nice.
it was like it's what kind of got me into like the pelagic heavy duty spearfishing, and I'm like I can't do that with a pole spear and sling.
Uh-huh.
So that's when I got my gun and all that stuff. But um, so they just like you can come in close to the bull shark, and the cobia kind of feels safe with them, and that's when you shoot the cobia. But you have to have a good crew with you of dive buddies because once you shoot it, that bull shark will turn and try to eat it,
Mm.
or other ones in the area. Because usually when we're doing this, there's usually like probably like 40 or 50 bull sharks in the water, like up with us in the column, and like to the point where we have to just kind of float. We don't like if we like pull our head above the surface and sit here and have a conversation, our feet are kicking, and the bull sharks come up and try to nip at our fins. So we have to
Yeah,
like be
I
like
don't know about this whole thing right that you're describing right now.
got so so our remedy to like if you shoot one and it runs a little bit, the bull sharks are just all over it, and they get all fired up and they
Uh-huh.
get all aggro, and they like want to eat stuff, and then we have to like fight them off of us because then they turn and try to like go after us. So the way we combat that is we have our
Bull
one
sharks
person
kill
is
people sometimes. You know that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But usually those people are like fluttering in the water. Us, we're just kind of like just still.
Just
They
chilling.
just
Yeah.
yeah, they don't really
So
think.
how do you use it? How do you shoot the cobia with a 9mm?
So what we do is one person will be a shooter, and everybody will have a spear gun in their hands, and one person will have the spear gun with a power head attached to the tip of it. So
Mm-hmm.
basically once it hits something, it shoots a bullet into the whatever it hits. So that person goes down one, and you get right up, and usually you go with a buddy, like two people, one person with a regular spear gun, one person with the power head, and you go down and you come up to the biggest cobia. You go right up to them, and because I mean you get close, and
Mm.
you pop it, in the front section anywhere, and just the shock just scares away the bull sharks, and the fish is just lights out. And then once that happens, the other person with their gun shoots because the power just hits them and
Yeah.
just shoots the bullet. It doesn't like attach to the cobia, and then the
Uh-huh.
other person will shoot it with the regular spear and
Okay.
pull it up to the surface. But that's
That
the
is
only way.
that's
That's the
wild,
only
man.
way. That's the
That's
only way
wild.
because we we'll be stupid and we'll be like, hey man, I think I think I can stone one. Like I think I can get it. Like, they're coming right in. I'll be able to like shoot them and just lights out, kill them, like brain them. Or it never happens. That never
Yeah.
happens. And then you get to the surface, you're like, that was stupid. All right, let's get the power head out. You're like, we thought we could do it, but nope, nope. The sharks are all over the cobia. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, once we do that, it's usually like bang bang. We get a limit, and then we come back and create skewers and cook them out, have a barbecue.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
Wild,
yeah, you
wild.
have
You
to.
got it. You definitely have a screw loose. I'll tell you that.
It's
But
just
it's not a bad thing. It's your passion. We're all
yeah.
passionate about something. But yeah, it's that seems pretty crazy.
So
Intentionally swimming with bull sharks, like,
it's pretty. When I first started, I
and the
was
part
like,
where you're like, and then we have to fight them off, and maybe they nip at our
yeah,
fins, and maybe one day I'll come back with a nub. Who knows? But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Hopefully it's not tomorrow, but yeah, no, yeah, it's just when I started, I was like weary, and I'd see them down deep, and I'd be like, oh my God. But now it's I just dive so much, and they're just so like prevalent that it's just another day on the water. Like they're
hmm.
they're just around.
But is that something that you have to be cognizant of? Never getting complacent, and this something that's that dangerous?
Yeah, yeah. I'm very aware.
Yeah.
You're very aware. You know that they're there. You know that they can turn, and you know that that's why you dive with guys that are, um, you know,
Hmm.
that have your back.
Hmm.
That you're watching each other the whole time. And the last time I did that, it was with a good group of guys, and I'm gonna go with the same group of guys.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
wish us luck.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, hey, it's been nice getting to know you, Jack.
Yeah.
Certainly an interesting passion that you have. I will start watching more of those YouTube videos. Like I said, I just found that one viral one, and I was like, I want to know about this grouper biting this guy's arm.
Yeah, dude.
That was
Yeah, I'm glad
crazy
you.
to
I'm glad
see.
you brought me on. Glad you brought me on. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great that you reached out.
yeah. So, do you do any other bow hunting besides for deer?
I've gone elk hunting, but it was more of just a kind of experience,
Yeah.
experience it. And I went in like mid to late October in
Oh yeah.
Colorado, and it was like 2 feet of snow, and
With a
I won't
bow?
do that again. No, that was with gun because it
Yeah.
was gun season, and it was
Okay.
more of me to just kind of get a lay of the land. We saw a herd, and
Hmm.
yeah, we got on them, but just didn't get within range. Saw some cows, but it was beautiful. I mean, just the whole process, and I have I think three preference points in
Yeah.
Colorado, and I think next year I'm going to try to get out there for opening archery and try to
Right on.
try to get one in September.
Yeah. My buddy
So
just texted me today. He shot one. It was crazy. It
dang,
was a spike on one side, and it was a 5 point on the other side. So it was a freak. But yeah,
nice, that's cool.
it just came in quiet to a few mews, like cow calls.
Uh-huh.
But he's the best elk hunter that I know. The success rate in Colorado is terrible. It's like, what, 9% or something like that for elk
Yeah,
on
yeah.
public land over the counter. And every time he comes out with a bull. So,
Dang, dang,
yeah.
dang. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I do love. I prefer archery for sure,
Mhm.
and yeah, I've had some success, and yeah, I can't get enough of it. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going hunting this weekend.
Nice. I got that one in New Mexico with a bow,
That's freaking awesome. Public
public land.
land,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I've gotten two on public land with a bow. I've wounded another one or two, and then I've missed a couple. So
Those are the ones you really remember.
I don't want to talk about them. I've talked about them
I know
enough.
that's more embedded in your mind than even like the successes.
Oh
Like
yeah.
my especially the ones you wound. That's like, oof.
There's definitely arrows I'd like back. There's no doubt about that. But
Yeah.
that's the
Oh
way
yeah.
hunting goes, especially bow hunting.
That's what makes it so
Just,
rewarding when you finally do get the one and
mhm,
all that, all the, build up
mhm.
and all the unsuccess. It makes those successful times, the
Yep,
best. So,
absolutely.
but
All right, so give us your social media handle and then your YouTube page so folks can
all right.
find you.
So it's Captain Jack Spearo,
Okay.
so it's
Yeah.
and then it's like that on Instagram, it's like that on YouTube, not Sparrow.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
Spearo. And
Okay.
because a Spearo is it's another term for like an avid spear fisherman. So,
Okay.
people would consider me a Spearo. And so Captain Jack Spearo, little play on words.
Why? You only go like once a week?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
it would hopefully be more if I do it full time and
I think
hopefully,
once a week is a lot. I mean, any,
oh yeah, no, I,
yeah,
I I could go a couple times a week,
yeah,
but I would be more selective. I
yeah.
wouldn't, I would I'd like look for dinner for that night and the next night and then like
Uh-huh.
go so on. But yeah, hopefully people start following and build it up. And if people came from from the show, let me know. Let me know in the comments.
We'll do it. Y'all go follow Captain Jack Spearo. Good stuff,
Yeah,
man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time. Have a great fall.
absolutely.
And well, I'll start checking out some more of those YouTube videos.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Thank you. Good night.